You are entering a zone where religion is banished. Talk of Jesus, theories, scripture, and the esoteric is the forefront. Can you handle it? There we go. Would help if I actually unmute myself. I shared it in my Facebook page. Hello and welcome again. It would help if I can actually get my bearings straight before I fall out of this chair. So we got a little bit later start, but oh well. Now we are continuing reading the book of Enoch. Tonight, I believe we'll be resuming chapter 26 and probably stopping at, I believe we agreed on 36. So again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share this thing out. If y'all have any questions, be sure to ask them in the chat. That way we can get to them too. Let me go on, bring Kenny on, and also unmute you. That would be a little helpful. All right, how you doing, bro?
Good. It's only helpful if you really want to hear me. That's fine.
Yeah, they're just gonna deal with the really long pauses until I realize, oh wait, you're unmuted, or are you muted?
Sounds good. Yeah.
So how's the week been for you?
It's been pretty good. Pretty good. Staying busy.
True.
That's about it. So all I can do these days is stay busy.
I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin. Again, if anyone has any questions, be sure to put them in the chats, and we'll get to them as best we can. Do you want to start or me?
It doesn't matter. You can go ahead and start.
Alright, I will do that. Alright. 26. And I went from there to the middle of the earth, and I saw a blessed place in which there were trees with branches alive and blooming on a tree that had been cut down. There's a little author's note I'm going to read here, and again, as usual, the book that I'm reading from, for those who are listening on iTunes, it's the Book of Enoch, translated by Joseph Lumpkin. Okay, the author's note said that apparently there's a hollow earth theory. Is that different from the flat earth theory?
Yes, actually.
Interesting. Okay.
The hollow earth theory is that there's an inner earth, but it's still a sphere. It's like a sphere inside a sphere, which is interesting.
Okay.
I wonder about the physics of that sort of reality, but I do believe there is an underworld, so we kind of agree on that. Just I don't think it's a sphere.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. Verse 2. And there I saw a holy mountain, and underneath the mountain to the east there was a stream, and it flowed towards the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain higher than this, and between them a deep and narrow valley. In it ran a stream underneath the mountain, and to the west of it there was another mountain, lower than the former, and of small elevation, and dry, deep valley between them, and another deep and dry valley was at the edge of 3 mountains. And the valleys were deep and narrow, being formed from hard rock, and there were no trees planted on them, and I was very amazed at the rocks in the valleys. I still think that he's just getting like a nice tour.
Yeah, it seems like in the middle of the earth. I mean, it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
But he was showing a really beautiful, blessed place.
Mm-hmm.
If it was in the middle of the earth and the earth is flat, then that would be the North Pole. I see why a lot of ancient cultures would think that, because they all believe that,
Mm-hmm.
every one of them. So the middle of the earth to them would all be pointing to the north. It would be a magical place to them, probably. But
True. Okay.
I mean, I don't think this is necessarily saying that. It's just a beautiful place in the middle of the earth.
Yeah.
I mean, that could mean anything.
It really makes you wonder if someone has ever actually taken the time to try to map out where this is. You know what I mean? Because that would...
Yeah.
I think that would be really difficult because there's really no strong landmarks.
Yeah, and you don't know where to start from. It's just mountains. There's not mountain names.
Yeah.
You don't know where he's starting from. You could guess, but I mean, and you could probably build some pretty good cases for a lot of locations.
Mm.
Like, that doesn't mean any of them would be right. Just well thought out ideas of where it could be.
True. Okay. You want to take 27?
Sure. Then I said, for what purpose is this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees, and this cursed valley between them? Then answered Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to me, this cursed valley is for those who will be cursed to eternity, and here will be assembled all those who have spoken with their mouths unseemly words against God, and speak insolently of his glory. Here they will be assembled, and here will be their judgment. And in the latter days there will be a spectacle of the last judgment upon them in the presence of the just in eternity forever. For this reason, they who have found mercy will bless the Lord of glory, the eternal King. And in the days of their judgment, they will bless him for his mercy, according to which he has assigned to them their lot. Then I blessed the Lord of glory and spoke to him and remembered his greatness, as it is fitting.
So what we were shown in 26 was actually for...
Right. It's a beautiful place,
Watchers.
cursed valley in between. But, well,
what says, wait a minute.
not necessarily just the Watchers, though.
Utter lips against the... Yeah. So it could be the Watchers and all those who follow
like,
with them.
This kind of, would even line up with Armageddon, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Possibly.
Like there's a mountain over there. Maybe he was shown the way it looked back then.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Because all the land wasn't cursed back then, and
Yeah.
all the deserts, and the deserts are just expanding, and people think that we're doing right by the world, but the world is showing us that it's getting sick because we're not spiritually good.
Yeah.
So
I'm just looking back over it. Okay, interesting. Alright, 28. Actually, I'll do 20 and 29 since 28 is like super short.
Okay.
Then I went towards the east into the midst of the mountain range in the desert, and I saw wilderness, and it was solitary, full of trees and plants, and water gushed out from above, rushing like a torrent which flowed towards the northwest. It caused clouds and dew to fall on every side. The way I said "flawed," I'm like, what? That changes the sentence completely. 29. Then I went to another place in the desert and approached to the east of this mountain range. And there I saw aromatic trees exuding the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh, and the trees also were similar to the almond tree. I'll do 30 as well. Beyond these I went far to the east, and I saw another place, a valley full of water like one that would not run dry. And there was a tree, the color of fragrant trees was that of mastic. And on the sides of these valleys I saw fragrant cinnamon, and beyond these I proceeded to the east. So you just continue to get a good tour of the area.
Yeah, mine actually reads a little bit differently.
Go ahead.
Um, it's basically the same, but some of the words are just different, and it might be, I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I'll just read 28, 29, and 30. And from here I went towards the east into the midst of the mountains of the desert and saw only a plain, but it was filled with trees of this seed, and water dropped down over it from above. It was seen that the water which it sucked up was strong, as towards the north, so towards the west, and as in all places, so water and dew also ascended from here. And I went to another place away from the desert, approaching the east of the mountains, and there I saw trees of judgment, especially those that emitted the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh, and they were not like ordinary trees. And above, over these, over the eastern mountain, not far off, I saw another place, valleys with water that does not dry up. And I saw a beautiful tree, and its fragrance was like that of a mastic. And along the edges of these valleys, I saw fragrant cinnamon, and I advanced over these towards the east. I don't know, it just sounded totally different to me when I was reading it.
Very good. And I find it interesting how, like, in a good majority of this, there's like no like canon script reference, because you know it's just like he's getting a tour.
Yeah, I mean, I can look and see what my
yeah, mine doesn't give anything since 26, which is fine. To me, it's just like I said, he's just getting a tour of everything, even though supposedly like the place in 26 was for the ones who basically have blasphemed and kind of accursed the Father.
Yeah, this one, let's see, you said yours hasn't had anything since 26?
Nah.
So, okay, this writer basically does what I said and tries to place everything around Jerusalem and explain how it's around Jerusalem. So that's kind of fun.
That's interesting.
And it might be. I mean,
yeah,
I don't
very
know.
well could be.
I haven't really. Oh, and he places the place of punishment as Gehenna, the place where they burn all their trash, the cursed land in Israel.
That's a possibility too.
I mean, it is a possibility. I mean, I don't know. It could be. He might have been shown what it looks like years and years earlier.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay. So yeah, that's it.
Yep. Did you stop at 30 or 30, or did I stop at 30 or 31?
Yeah, 30.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and take. I'd say 31 and 32 then.
All right. And I saw another mountain in which were trees from which water flowed, and it flowed like nectar, which is called Sarira in Galbanum. And over this mountain I saw another mountain on which were aloe trees, and these trees were full of hard substance like almonds, and in taking that fruit it was better than all the odors. And after these odors, as I looked towards the north over the mountains, I saw 7 mountains full of pleasant nard and fragrant trees and cinnamon and pepper. And from here I went over the summits of those mountains far towards the east, and passed far above the Erythraean Sea, and went far from it, and passed over the angel Zutel. And I came into the garden of justice, and I saw the mingled diversity of those trees. Many and large trees are planted there, of attractive beauty, and large and beautiful and magnificent. Also the tree of wisdom, eating of it one learns great wisdom. It is like the carob tree, and its fruit is like grape, very good. The fragrance of this tree goes out and is spread far. And I said, this tree is beautiful. how beautiful and pleasant to look at. Then the holy angel Raphael, who was with me, answered and said to me, "This is the tree of wisdom, from which thy old father and thy aged mother, who were before thee, ate, and they learned wisdom, and their eyes were opened, and they learned that they were naked and were driven out of the garden."
Interesting.
And I think it's interesting that he looked towards the north over the mountains. And then he went over the mountains in the north. And then over the mountains in the east from there. So I mean, who knows where they were. But he was shown it had to have been the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, I was literally about to say the same thing, because it says that's where your grandfather and grandmother, great
right,
was there and ate, and their eyes were opened. Now, what's interesting here, I see, is that this thing is actually called the Tree of Wisdom rather than Good and Evil.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. It was the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the tree of wisdom, same thing. Because before they were naive, they were like children.
Yeah,
naive. They don't listen. They don't, but they don't really know what they're doing. So it's not really a sin. And then their eyes were open when they ate from that tree, and oh, now you know better.
Yeah. I just realized that Zoom, or at least OBS, messed up. So I'm stuck too.
Oh no.
Interesting. Oh well.
That is very interesting.
So let me just do this so that everyone doesn't have to see our staring faces. I'll just do that. I did not even realize that, y'all. I apologize for that. Okay.
We're both frozen today.
Yeah, I think it's probably because my browser froze earlier, and then also OBS froze earlier, and that's probably what screwed up. Because Zoom is perfectly fine, but not OBS. So, and I've tried messing with it, but oh well, I'll just keep it that way.
Well, we don't have anything to show tonight. So.
Yeah, so nothing big.
All right, there's nothing to look at either.
Literally. All right, but yeah, but going back to the tree though. Again, I find, and you might have actually said that, and then I realized the screens, but it says here the tree of wisdom rather than the tree of good and evil.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep, it does. It's the wisdom, or it's just, knowledge. There's a tree of knowledge, knowledge of good and evil.
True. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Rather than just the tree of life and us depend on him and not seeking our own knowledge. Still kind of makes me wonder what that tree was.
Right? I mean, it sounds pretty cool. It's like a carob tree. Its fruit's like a grape. The odor, the fragrance goes far out, spreads a long way away from the tree.
Which, since it actually gave that description, that also proves that it was actually a tree.
Yeah.
And not some other wonky theory that's out there.
Right. I mean, it is a tree in the garden. It's not something else. It's not. He got her to eat the fruit. That's what he did. Okay. All the other stuff, that's nonsense. And those books are not the real thing.
Okay. I'll read 33 and 34. And from there I went to the ends of the earth, and I saw their large beasts, and each differed from each other, and I saw birds also differing in appearance, in beauty, in voice, and one differing from the other. And to the east I saw those beasts. I saw the ends of the earth, where heaven rests on it, and the doors of heaven open. And I saw how the stars of heaven came out, and I counted the gates from which they came out. That's interesting. And wrote down all the outlets of each individual star by their number and their names, their courses and their positions, and their times and their months, as Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, showed me. He showed me all these things and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, their laws and their functions. Well, that took a bit of a change.
Right?
We went from a tour to going up to the out to outer space.
But was he really in outer space? Or
Well, you get the idea.
Where did he really where was that?
Yeah.
He could have been taken to a table and shown a bunch of charts. This is what happens, and this is their path. This is the path for this one. Now write it down, and this is the path for this one. You know, told all their names and everything. Just goes to show that each star was created and given its own task, its own purpose, its own path to follow in the sky. And he was shown each and every one of those. God took the time to show him every detail of creation.
God, that must have been literally mind-blowing. You imagine trying to just take in all the information and everything that you're seeing.
You know, one thing that he never mentions, other planets, other places other than inside the earth. Other than one time, a place that was outside that didn't have heaven over it or the earth under it. But that doesn't sound like it would be under the stars, because the stars are under heaven in his description. Just stars and their names and their paths.
It's still just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
But that's super cool in general.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does the Father know, every hair that's on our head, but it says right here, not just in the canonized word, that he knows every single name of every single star.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
All the
What's
was
up?
also shown all the, I guess in that tour he was shown, it seems like one of every kind of animal too. Saw great animals there, and one differed from the other, and the birds differed as to their appearance, their beauty and voices. One differed from the other. Like he was shown one of each of everything.
Yeah.
And to the east of these animals, then he saw the ends of the earth and the heavens and all the stars, and was told all their names and all their, every one of them.
Just so weird.
Cool. A lot of things.
Yeah, I just lost my bookmark for my research. Awesomeness. Okay. I was working on the research project that I've been working on for a little bit. I finally got done with the writing, and I did like a test recording, but I used a card to mark a certain place in Enoch that we had gone through a couple weeks ago, and I just lost it, which is awesome. Not really. I'll have to find it later.
Yeah.
Alright, I will, I'll read 34.
Alright.
From there I went towards the north to the ends of the earth, and there I saw a great and glorious device at the ends of the whole earth, and here I saw 3 gates of heaven open. Through each of them proceed north winds. When they blow, there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. And from one gate they blow for good. But when they blow through the other two gates, it is for violence and torment on the earth, and they blow with force. Huh. So, okay, this is probably like the second or third time I've actually read through Enoch, and whenever I was reading through this the first time, and I think it came even more to like my understanding whenever I got to this parts, but like it's this here is saying that there are different portals, gates, whatever you want to call them, for
Yeah.
the different winds. And it's saying here that if it goes from one direction, it's good, but if it goes the other direction, it's bad, or quote unquote bad.
See, right here, this is an interesting one in itself because hey, there's 3 portals. Now let's count together. When it blows out of one of them, there's cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain.
Yeah.
And when it blows out of one of them, it's for good. When it blows out of
Don't
2
drop
of them, apparently it wasn't listening.
that.
Sorry about that. But and when it blows out of 2 of them, it blows for with power, and there's misfortune upon the earth, and they blow with great power. So I don't know. I guess if it's a cold rain, then it's misfortune upon the earth. Is that if it's rain from a north wind, or is rain from the north the good? Because rain is a blessing.
Yeah, that's definitely a blessing.
But we'll read on later that there's rain from other portals too. So
True.
it's interesting. I don't know what to take from this. I mean, obviously he was shown that God makes the weather. He controls
Yeah.
the weather. He was shown how he controls the weather. This is how he understood how to explain it. And that's all I got.
Yeah.
He was shown it and how it worked, and this is the best he could do to explain it.
True. All right, you want to take the last 2?
Sure. 35 and 36. And from here I went towards the west to the ends of the earth and saw there 3 open portals. And as I had seen in the east, similar portals and similar outlets. And from here I went towards the south to the ends of the earth, and there I saw 3 open portals of heaven. Out of them come the south wind and dew and rain and wind. And from here I went towards the east to the ends of the heaven, and there I saw the 3 portals of heaven open towards the east, and over them small portals. Through each one of these small portals the stars of heaven came and come and go every evening on the path which is shown to them. And as I looked, I blessed, and thus each time I blessed the Lord of glory, who had made the great and glorious wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the angels and to the souls of men, that they might praise his work, and that all his creatures might see the works of his might and praise the great work of his hand, and bless him to eternity.
Okay, so we had more open gates. And
see, okay, now I guess for all the movements of the stars and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, what I'm feeling now, or what's coming to me now.
Okay.
All the really old calendars like Stonehenge and Adam's calendar and all those other things. Okay, now imagine an angel sitting in one of those with you and actually telling you how to tell time, how to reckon the years, how to use the device to, to tell time.
So you're actually thinking that what
So,
he's been
like when he's
showing is
looking through
basically
the
the calendar.
portals, he's looking through the holes in between the rocks. It's Stonehenge, like it's a circle of arches, right? So he's looking through this portal, and then this portal, and then this portal. You know, as the sun's going up and down, and which portals they come out of
Mm-hmm.
is the same for the stars.
Yeah.
Same areas that they come out of, and they're smaller portals, but they're smaller, and they're above the weather. They're above the maybe above the sun and stars. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he was probably shown those things from ground, because you can't really see them from space. You
Mm-hmm.
go up too high, and all of a sudden the stars disappear.
Yeah.
So he would have to show him those from the ground.
Interesting. Now, how much do you know of the Enochian calendar?
Not a whole lot.
Me either, but I have like
actually
good.
I studied it a little bit the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's very regular. The years are 364 days because a year is based on the sun from equinox strictly. And it starts out with, it's very, very regular, 30 days, 30 days, 31 days, 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 3 months for each season, 12 months that are, very regular.
Yeah.
I did not have a chance to study the moon, but the moon's years, quote unquote, is shorter in the Book of Enoch because it doesn't shine some nights, and that's pointed out. It doesn't count the nights that the moon doesn't shine.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the new moon nights, and sometimes it's gone for 2 nights, and that adds a day before. I think in the Bible that added a day before the Jews started reckoning the first day of the next month.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember. I haven't really studied it too much, just a little bit.
All right. Well, why don't we take a break? If anyone has any questions, be sure to type them into the comment section, and then when we get back, we can answer them or discuss anything else. So we'll be back in just a few.
I gotta plug my phone back.
Everyone knows of the Discord app. Well, we have a growing community that enjoys having deep discussions and living life together. So if you're interested or have been looking for a community like that, be sure to click the link in the description to join us. We'd love to have you. Since biblical times, dreams have been a way for God to speak to us, and He has given His people gifts to interpret those messages for His people. I have been studying and interpreting dreams for years now, and the reviews people leave speak for themselves, so be sure to go to my website and request a session to see what God is showing you in the dream state. www.thegothicmystic.com.
We do have.
Alright, we are back. Everyone knows
That's not what I
Discord
wanted to
app.
do.
Well,
Hang on.
we have a
I
growing
just messed up a
community
little bit.
that enjoys having. Okay, there we go. I had pushed the wrong button there. Alright, so if anyone has any questions, be sure to put them into the chat. I haven't really studied the calendar of Enoch. I've seen a little bit here and there regarding it.
Yeah, I downloaded a thing. I don't know. It's hard to have time to sit and validate anything, or
Mhm. Yeah.
but it seems accurate.
That and like that goes along with something, that along the lines of something that's like very esoteric that you can't really just Google.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of look in like in the resources that you have, that's that but the public has, but not everyone even knows about, and then kind of just go off that. And um I'm kind of wondering how many of the different calendars that are out there, and how many of them actually kind of in a way sync together somewhat. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The ancient Chinese calendar is the only other calendar that was 364 days.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're the only other ancient culture that strictly believed in one God until Buddhism came in around 500 AD. They were, uh, their religion was very much like the Jewish religion, but without all the laws and structure. They made their sacrifices to the one God for the atonement of their sins. The king went out and made yearly atonement sacrifices to the one God of heaven, and his temple was completely empty and still is completely empty of any idols or anything. It's
Mm-hmm.
just an open room. Um, and a lot of amazing stuff there. You should look into the ancient China before Buddhism and before Taoism and Taoism, before all of that. So, but yeah, their creation story is almost the same. Almost the same. It's a little different, but it's almost exactly the same as. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Quiet, please. My daughter, she's beautiful.
Oh.
Full of energy too. But yeah, the Chinese had a 364-day calendar. When they used the solar calendar, the whole world has gone to the Roman, Greek, lunar calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to say. Now, I don't know that every Sabbath, according to the Enochian calendar, is exactly 7 days apart. Because what do you do with the day that you don't count? Do you count that as the first day, or do you not count that as the first day? It's part of the solar year, but not part of the month.
That would explain why whenever I was watching I don't know which channel it was. It was like a week or so ago. But he had developed, I'm guessing by studying Enoch, the Enochian calendar, and he actually said that we don't count the seventh day. And I kind of found that interesting.
I think that I'm being led to believe that basically new moon, half moon, or quarter moon, whatever you want to call it, first quarter moon, full moon, last quarter moon, and new moon are supposed to be the Sabbaths. And you get two when there's two new moons in a row.
Interesting. That, I want to say that matches up with what he was talking about, but don't quote me on it. Like I said, it's been like about a week or so since I actually watched, that video, and again, it was definitely interesting. Have you studied? Adam is one to know if we have studied the Ethiopian calendar yet.
I have not. I haven't looked into the Ethiopian calendar at all.
I have not either.
I hadn't even thought about it. I probably will now. Because I wonder. That's interesting. It's a good thought. Good.
Here's another good one, and this is actually something that I've recently developed myself. He says, I do feel the Well, I partially agree with this. The one, I do feel the one God concept is missing something. Elohim is plural for being more than one. The word God is Greek origin. This is just my current belief right now, is that it was either, you know, the Trinity, or also the divine council that already existed at the point
Yeah, the angels were over there.
yeah. So you believe too the angels already existed at the point of Genesis 1:1?
Yeah, there's more things than just God that are called Elohim.
Yes. Yeah. Well, what was it, Samuel? And whenever
any
King.
disembodied spirit is technically an Elohim.
Correct.
Any now that could be any angel that's operating not in a visible you know, whatever. That could be a demon, that could be a ghost, that could be you know, God. It just depends. You have to, you know, at least the way the Bible is, and the way Hebrew is written, you have to match up the verb with the noun and make sure that they make sense together. To know if you're talking about the one or a bunch.
And
a group of them.
And for scripture reference regarding any disembodied spirit that is considered Elohim, go to whenever King Saul went to the medium, and she was basically summoning up Samuel's spirit, and it actually said, you know, the woman said, "I see an Elohim coming up," and you know, I've heard lectures of saying, you know, that wasn't actual Samuel, when it actually is, because what he prophesied came true.
It could be, or it might be, it might not be. It doesn't really matter if it was or not. It could happen. Yeah, sure. It could have been another one pretending to be him, and it looked just like him. Dead ringer.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And the point is,
they weren't there.
He called it actually an Elohim.
Yeah. Right. Same thing. The spirit.
Yeah. Any other questions, y'all? If not, then we'll go ahead and close it out. Okay, wait a couple seconds here.
You know, I was had another thought.
Shoot.
Basing because you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Okay.
Those are Roman names for days. I don't remember seeing in the Bible names for days of the week necessarily, other than first, second, third, fourth, fifth, you know, whatever, which day of the week, or it's not. And then, you know, you have those uncounted days. Well, how did they know what day it was? They looked at the moon when it was setting, because as the sun's setting, you can tell when the first day of the month is. It's the first day that you can see a moon right after the sunset.
Say it one more time, make sure I caught that correctly.
It's the first day you can see the moon right after the sunset. Is the first official day of the month.
Interesting.
The first official day of the week of the first day of the first week of the month. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
The way I said
I
that.
think I might have heard that before, but it's been so long that I may not even remember it.
And then they had other Sabbaths that were counted differently. There's a counting for every Sabbath, right?
Yeah.
The first day of the week, or from this Sabbath count 50 days, and that's Pentecost or whatever. You know, they had several days that were like that, but they were all based on counting from other Sabbaths. You had to know when the other Sabbaths were to count right. And if you didn't know what day of the week it was, or day of the month, if you didn't know when the first day of the first week started for that month, then you were lost.
Yeah, I remember you saying, like, last week, or I think it was last week, whenever we talked, that like today is Tuesday, but how are we really supposed to know it's Tuesday other than the fact that we go by the certain calendar? But I know, like many years ago, when they actually set this thing, they just said we're going to start on this day. For all we know, this could be Friday.
Yep, it sure could be. Every day's numbered, but how many days are in God's week?
Yeah.
Well, there's 7 days in a week, so but
True.
there's 6 days and then a day of rest. But how does his calendar work? You know, it doesn't work the way the Roman calendar works at all. And I'm sad. I wish we knew, so we'd know the right holidays and the right days to celebrate. There's plenty to celebrate in the calendar that God gave us,
True.
Well, I'd rather have a bunch of feasts, a bunch of Thanksgivings anyway, right? That's all it is, a bunch of feasts, man. 6 feasts a year or something like that. Four big Thanksgivings a year. Yes.
True. All right, so I guess, we'll go ahead and call it. If y'all have any other questions, I'd say just save them for next week and throw them at us. But we hope that y'all have a good week other than that, and y'all go ahead and take care.